How'd the ice bath feel?
You know what? That was my first. Coach Morris talked to these guys before the game about first, and this being the first spring game in a while, and so it was exciting for me. Right, this whole game, having these guys come out and show to the fans what SMU football is going to be about here in the future. So that was exciting. Right.
Was it a little weird that you got one before Coach Morris has gotten one, though?
Well, you know what? I'm going to be a part of him getting one, right? Because the surprise, the excitement that I got, I want him to feel that one day. But you know, I think that I took that one for him today. I took one for the Morris team today. Right.
You've worked with these guys for a little over a month now. What part of your defense has shown the most improvement since you started working with them?
Wow, that's hard to say, but our defensive front, they've done a great job, you know, being a three-man front, and some of these guys having to really adjust to that on the fly. So I'd have to say the defensive line has made the most improvement. But, you know, across the board, like I said before, I'm extremely pleased with the way these guys have brought into the system, with the way that they're doing the things that we ask them to do on a daily basis. So I'd say the D-line, but across the board, we're pleased with where we've come.
The secondary is where you coach and everything like that. What do you think of their performance today?
Well, they're going to always be graded harder than any other group. But at the end of the day, I think that we still have some growing there in that group. Yeah, we still have some growing to do in that group. But as with the defensive line, even though I sing their praises, I say we still have a long way to go, which is great because we don't need all that we have just yet. We're still a growing defense. We're still a growing team.
Was this your first time calling plays?
Yes, it was.
In a while? How was it? What did you think to get the first game like?
Well, I tell you what, I'm surrounded by a great staff of coaches, and they make what I do really easy because they're giving suggestions all the time. Of course, when they don't work, then everybody says, "Damn, coach, why'd you call that?" But when it works, everybody raises their hands. But honestly, seriously, I'm surrounded by a great group of coaches, and they make my job they make it easy.
You had Zach Wood playing inside today. Was that just because Zelt is out, or is that part of the plan to have him inside? And what do you see in him as opposed to some other guys that you could slide inside?
Well, the fact is that he's an experienced guy, and he understands what we're doing, so we can put him in those different positions. But a big part of it was Zelt. A big part of it for us to be able to experiment like this was because of the injury to Zelt. And we felt like Zach, like I said, if in a pinch, we'd be able to do that with him. Same thing with the wheel linebackers, Jackson Mitchell and Kyrie Mitchell going over and having to do the same thing for Shaq. Well, when Shaq is back, those guys will go back to their natural position, but it only helps us to be able to sometimes, when there's no bullets flying, sometimes be able to experiment and see if guys can do different things.
Some passing down situations you had big guy Spencer Holly lined up on the inside, but then Robert Seals and stand up off the edge. Talk about that kind of.
Well, the thing is that talking about Seals, he does a great job coming off the edge. Being a former outside linebacker, a lot of times athletically he has an advantage on tackles. So being able to use him in those situations, we feel like it's good for us. And if we can continue to develop Spencer, he'll be a force inside. I think he's 2 times big as the stadium, so we feel like he's going to do some good things for us inside.
When you move Zach inside, Justin Lawler got more reps at Zach's former spot, I guess. And Justin seems to have been in the backfield a lot during spring. Talk a little about his progress and what you see for his role in the fall.
Well, he's been one of the most productive defensive linemen throughout the spring. When you count sacks, when you count tackles for loss, batted balls, turnovers, he's been really productive. So as much as we can get Justin involved, it's a good thing for us.
You have Anthony Roan making a lot of the calls for the front seven. Is it nerve-wracking at all to hand that responsibility to a guy so young?
Well, we got to give it to somebody. and we feel like that Roan studies film just as much as anybody, and that's the system. The system, he understands. Coach Mack puts a lot of pressure on him to get the front lined up, and he's a conscientious kid, so we're excited about him being able to do that, and he's done a great job throughout the spring. And his youth, like they say sometimes in the nightlife scene, age is only a number.